India's liberal values really under threat? Are we becoming an illiberal, Hindu majoritarian, Hindu nationalist state? Is this the rise of fascism in India? What exactly is liberalism, by the way? And was India really a liberal state earlier? Let's discuss as I talk about the book The Dilemma of an Indian Liberal by Gurcharan. Keep watching. Hello and welcome once again to Books Wale Bhaiya. I am Abhishek. Today I'll be talking about the book The Dilemma of an Indian Liberal by Mr. Gurcharan. Mr. Das is a well-known public intellectual. He has been the former CEO of Procter & Gamble India and Southeast Asia. He has been an author since past 30 plus years. He's a columnist and a very well-known public intellectual, and this is his latest book, The Dilemma of an Indian Liberal. Now, Mr. Das, as we know, is a classical liberal. That's how he identifies himself as. And in this book, which is part autobiographical as well, he talks about his life journey and how he sees the rise and today the decline of liberalism. When he says a decline of liberalism, he talks about, you can say, the world as a whole. He's seeing the deterioration of liberal values. He's seeing the rise of fascism or hyper-nationalism in several countries, or you can say it's a trend which he sees is there, you can say, on a global stage. He takes the example of India, which he believed has been a liberal state. However, he sees things not being the same now. But before that, very importantly, he takes you through the history of the idea of liberalism as well as several other thought processes. And he talks why liberalism has been the default setting for past several centuries and has been the default setting for a large number of countries, because he believes that liberalism is an idea which works. In also talking about liberalism, he also takes the example of India, and he says Indian mindset is typically liberal, and that's why we have seen a liberal state in India since independence. In fact, he goes back to the period of Vedas as well as ancient times, and he sees that how over time, we have always been liberal. That has been our nature. However, talking about today's time, he talks about how India is becoming an illiberal state. He talks about concepts such as Hindu nationalism as well as several, other wrongdoings by the government. However, he's not someone who is pessimistic. He ends his book on a very optimistic note. He says that despite the challenges we are facing currently, he expects the future to be better than what it is currently. And mind you, when he talks about liberalism and illiberalism, he draws a distinction between economics and politics. So while he talks about the current government, Prime Minister Modi regime, he praises Mr. Modi for several of the aspects several of the developments or improvements he has done on the economic front. However, he shows his disagreement with the government on certain counts, which is India becoming more like a Hindu nationalist state. Interestingly, he's not someone who takes extreme positions. In fact, I have had a personal interaction with him, which is there on my channel. And when he talked about how we're becoming a liberal, he also talks about how people who believe in other thought processes, whether it's socialism or something else, are also illiberal. He, in fact, in this book also points out the drawbacks of, the idea of liberalism, that most importantly, it is an elitist concept, and that is one drawback or limitation of liberalism. All in all, this book gives you his personal history, the history of India, how it moved from a country which was very impoverished in 1947 to where we are today, through his personal journey as well as his journey in India, the changes he has seen. He takes you through the entire history of liberal values as well as why we are currently in a state which is quite illiberal. But in the end, he ends on a note that he does expect India and the world to perhaps become more liberal with the passing of time. So all in all, this is a book which takes you through his personal journey as well as tells you a lot many things about India, about Indian economy as well as polity. And on the whole, as I said, this book ends on a positive note that despite the challenges as per him which the country is facing, he does expect the future to be overall bright. Those who are interested in knowing about the past of India, the present of India, as well as the various challenges India is facing and what does the future looks like, this is a book I strongly recommend. Thank you.